So there's some rumors at the moment coming out saying that the new Nikon D810, no 820 that's coming out is going to be a 46 megapixel beast, and that's like, yeah, you're kind of expecting an increase in something, and the D800 line certainly hasn't been about low megapixels. It's always about pushing the boundaries there. So it's definitely gone up to, the rumors are it's going to go up to 46, which is a 10 megapixel jump up. But there's some people really complaining about this. So if you go into like the Nikon Rumors Facebook page, generally you'll see a lot of people going cool, great, more megapixels, brilliant. But you still have a lot of people kind of going, I wish they'd work on different things. So I'll just go through the top one. I wish Nikon would stop with this whole megapixel war. I don't think that's ever going to stop. I think as computers get faster, as lenses get better, as editing programs get better and all that kind of stuff, the demand is still more megapixels. I don't know who the demand is from, because I don't know where the benefit really comes in. There are the one or two people doing fashion photography or big commercial products that need high megapixels, but for the general person that might be buying this camera, I don't know who the customer base really is, because it's, apart from the 1 or 2% of photographers that need this, I don't know who it is. But at the same time, the marketing bump to say, hey, we've got more megapixels, it's a bit like telling somebody who doesn't really drive a car, going, this one's got more horsepower, it goes faster. You kind of go, cool, I want that one, but it could be a terrible car. Here it's like, hey, it's got more megapixels, go buy it. So I don't think I think it's a marketing thing that the megapixel war is going to carry on going. They always want to be a bit ahead, and maybe with increased megapixels, we will be getting, because like with that, you've got to always think we do get better processing. You need a faster processor. You need faster or higher grade optics. You need better battery and processing, all that kind of stuff. So it's a bit like Formula One. It's like, who needs a car that could do 200 miles an hour in 10 seconds? Like, it doesn't matter, but the technology from that filters down to the more consumer grade cameras. And the fact is, the D820 is potentially a consumer grade camera, around about the £2,500, which is very high level enthusiast levels. So here are other people saying, so they're saying they wish that we'd focus more on making the sensor better at higher ISOs or other things. The D810 has got a fantastic sensor. Its ISO ability is brilliant. Its dynamic range is considered the best in the business. The sensors that they're using are usually from Sony anyway, which has a massive sensor making division, and they make the best sensors out there. Sony have kept their own proprietary sensors for their A7, A7S, A7R line, and that's great. But buying a Sony is I wouldn't. Just the menu systems and the battery life and the form factor. Sony is just a great sensor, great tech, but not a camera that I would be advising it. I don't think I've ever advised anyone to buy a Sony. No. There's the one with the fixed lens, the Sony Alpha RX100 Mark IV or something. That is a good little camera as a pocket camera, but going up to when you're spending thousands of pounds on Sony, I'm like, nah, just go for Nikon or Canon. And generally, I would say Nikon is far ahead of Canon in terms of their sensor quality. So here's someone say, I 100% agree. They should focus, no pun intended, on making a camera with amazing low light performance. The D810's pretty much got that. The D750, unbelievable. The D610, fantastic. They do have unbelievable, amazing low light performance. They're saying with a sensor around 20 megapixels to maintain image quality and sharpness. Yeah, they kind of do. It's called the Nikon D500. If you look at this one, D500, it is Let's see, it should be 20.9 megapixels. Exactly what this person is wanting. And it is considered to be one of the best APS-C size cameras. If we go into, here's a great example. Sony a7S Mark II versus the Nikon D750. So a7S Mark II is a 12 megapixel, 750 is a 24 megapixel, the D810 is a 36 megapixel. And if you look at their noise, when you're printing out images, there's no difference. So to say, oh, if you want better noise performance, go with the Sony. Like, well, if you're printing out photos, no one's going to see the difference going on there, even when you're up at 25,000 ISO. Granted, on screen, you're getting about a stop's worth. One stop's worth of light potential better ISO capability. But once that's compressed down to a certain picture size, there's no difference. Really isn't any difference. Dynamic range, let's see what we're going for here. If you're going to the very, very tip of the top, you've got the D810, and then it's the D750, and then way down here, granted 13 stops of light is already fantastic, you're going down to the Sony a7S. So you're losing dynamic range, but you are gaining a bit of low noise at higher ISOs, only on the screen, not when printing out. So it really depends on what you're doing, but it's hard to really complain about anything going on here. Oh, it gets a bit more dynamic range while you're around about the 3,000 area, but yeah, it's not a big difference. It's not a jumping ship level of difference. If we go for tonal range, what do we have here? Sony's up there. Print, they're all the same. Color sensitivity, they're all pretty much the same. Unfortunately, it's Sony at the bottom end. So for people who are complaining, where is it? Saying, oh, they should have a low noise, a low light performance. Sony, they all are as good as they can be, pretty much. Let's see, what does somebody else say here? Good sensor plus low light performance is something the D810 already does. Yeah, if you need a lower megapixel, then the D750 is here for you. Even though the D750 is lower megapixel, it's still 24 million pixels. And it still has one of the best ISO capabilities as well. So it's just like, yeah, they could probably increase it, but it'll be such micro increases in ISO performance or micro increases in dynamic range or stuff like that. But one thing that can make a big difference is these big numbers of megapixels. So my advice to anyone, if anybody's kind of gone, hey, I've got £2,000-3,000, I want to spend it on camera gear, what would my advice be? And you're wanting to get the best camera gear that's out there, I would say don't hold out for the 820 with its 46 megapixels. Don't go down to this tiny camera, massive lens bodies of the Sony. If you're somebody that's like, I like hill walking and I don't mind a big rucksack, go for a second-hand Nikon D810. It's a beast. The body's solid, the ergonomics are great, the images are stellar, low light noise, fantastic, does video, does everything that you would need. You can get them second hand. Let's see, hold on, have I got a link? Let's type in Nikon D810. Can we get any for second? Doesn't even seem to be on Amazon. Let's try MBB. Or if you want to be really badass, get a Nikon D3S for $1,500, or for 24 megapixels and the hardest body in the world, a D3X. Wow, D4 for 1,500 as well. Oh, that's good. I like this sight. D4S 3,000, so it goes up pretty quickly. But let's see, where's the D800? You can get a D800 for under £1,000. Sorted. And then with the other £2,000 you've got left behind, buy some amazing lenses. So yeah, I think Nikon, well done for coming out with another camera. I'm sure it's going to be great. I hope the processors and everything that you put into it are going to slowly bring the price, the tech price down for the lower end of the market. But frankly, your D500 is stellar, your D810 is stellar, your D750 has an amazing sensor, but its body's a bit crap. Yeah, so 500, 810, you've got pretty much everything you need. 20 megapixels or 100, was it 36 megapixels? Going up to 46, you're like, okay, let's go for more. But I wouldn't be complaining about it. I just don't think it's necessary. That's the only thing. And I don't think trying to push for ISO and greater other things is going to work, because the sensors are all owned pretty much by Sony. So maybe they could work on the focusing array, menu systems, but they've kind of got it. It's kind of right. Everything with the Nikon D500, D810, it's kind of exactly what they need to be. Anything else, they're just adding fluff on at the moment, it seems like. And they're like, oh, we need to get some more business. How do we get more business? What do we do? More megapixels. Great idea. Didn't think of that one. Let's do that. So yeah, I'm kind of struggling to think where the next stage of camera development is going, because we've got 4K, we've got huge dynamic range, we've got, the next thing is maybe raw video, but we're talking, that's more like video cameras rather than DSLRs. Struggling to think what the next stage of DSLR development is going to be. I don't know what they're missing at the moment. They seem to have pretty much everything down. Seems to all be pretty sorted. But if you can think of anything, let me know. Put it in the comments down below. Cheers. Bye-bye.